Welcome to Trainer Talk. Matt, DK. You're here at the flagship, Lake Norman. We were in Pineville this morning, Matt, and we had Danielle down there. We're doing a podcast with Danielle.
Just went through Burn U.
Yeah, she just went through Burn U. She's the lead trainer at Pineville, and she stepped up to the plate and hit a home run, man.
She's a badass.
Oh,
badass.
She's a BA.
Ex-teacher. So those ex-teachers, like, they know how to.
So having a fun morning. We're now here. It's the afternoon time. Hopefully everybody out there's having a fantastic day. Thanks for tuning in with Matt and I. We wanted to just talk about openly today in a format where there is no format.
Yeah, those are the best shows.
We wanted to talk about
Those are the best.
good, bad habits, how to create them, what some of our good habits are, what some of our bad habits are. What else am I missing?
Really about just starting good ones and stopping bad ones.
Yeah.
Like.
So I'm missing nothing then.
No, you are not missing
Okay, we're good to go.
anything.
That's what we're going to talk about.
I think we both have really good habits.
And bad ones.
And how did we get there? Because it didn't happen in just one day, but also we have our bad habits too. We ain't perfect. We far from perfect. So.
Let's start at the top.
You want to start at the top?
Yeah, let's start at the top and let's talk about why habits are important in the first place. It's like, okay, so do you think, I'll ask you a question and then I'll give my own opinion on this. Do you think there's a difference between habits and rituals?
Ooh. Absolutely. I think my mind immediately went to habits is something you do daily. You wake up, you do what? You eat lunch at what time? You work out at what time? Rituals to me is like you do it once a year. Like
okay. So
like
the time
like
is the variable
family
for you.
reunion every year, or the 4th of July party at the Klein's once a year.
Oh yeah, the Klein bash.
That's a ritual.
Okay.
You know, habits to me are something that.
Okay, I get that.
You really don't got to do a lot of thinking,
okay.
right? It's really like, I just do it because I do this every day. That's what I think. What do you think?
I do see that perspective. My mind went to a completely different place though. My mind went to more of like a monthly, weekly, daily orientation to it, where you might think of a habit as something that is very hard to break, but it's breakable. And you might think of a ritual as something that is a non-negotiable, something that you literally do. It's like a ritual. It is not something that you are applying free will to. It's something just something you do.
So like every time you throw a pitch, you probably did the same thing. Like that was your ritual.
I think no, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
Subconsciously, you just do it.
No. That's a habit. Like my body built the habit of throwing over and over and over, which gave me the stamina to be able to maybe repeat that better.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a ritual to me is, okay, eating food is a ritual. You have to eat food.
Okay.
Okay. You don't get to the choice whether you eat food or not.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe the clothing style you have is a ritual. Like people very rarely, if ever, change up their style of clothing. I've been wearing shorts and a t-shirt for like 10 years. And before that, it was, there's no social media, so I don't have that many pictures. Okay. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. That's just the way that I think about building
up the definitions of these two
habit
words.
versus a ritual. Yeah, we could look up when you use
Let
ChatGPT.
You let us know what you think a habit and a ritual is, because this is a good question.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, if we didn't just pose this question right now and I actually had some time to think about it, I think we might be able to keep going on this.
Yeah.
But for now, since we're both at the end of our argument, you want to go down to the next layer?
Let's go.
Okay, so why are habits important? Okay, if it is different than a ritual, then it's just something you do daily.
Yeah.
So, because we need to give everyone like a framework of this conversation. So we have to define habit, right? That's why I asked that question.
Okay.
So a habit is something that you do daily and that it's really hard to break. Can we go off that definition?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So most people have good or bad habits? Or both. And how do you know?
I think most people have both. I'm trying to think of my daily habits. The first good daily habit I have is the first thing I usually drink is that. It's water, which is a good daily habit. Did I used to do that? No. But I just started feeling better early in my day if I did that. So I'm a human being where it's like, if it's going to improve my life, I'm going to do that. I don't care what it is. That's the first good habit I have daily. Bad habit, we just got done talking about this. It is currently 2:45 and I've had probably close to 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine, which is bad, right? Yeah. I know that, but this is part of my habit. When I write down to sit down workouts, what do? I immediately crack a Monster. Why? Because in my head, I think I write better workouts if I'm sipping a white Monster. Could I do it? Could I do it not? Yes, but
we'd have to test that theory. We'd have to go Matt. We'd have to go Matt off Monster.
Yeah.
For a period of time. You very well may help you write better.
It might. That is a bad habit. I know I have to stop that, but I don't have enough willpower yet to do that. So that's a quick daily bad habit, good habit.
Is it willpower that you need, or do you need some other type of force? It seems to me like willpower, you think about that, and it seems to me, let me explain what I mean by this. Like willpower to me is like, I don't think anyone actually has willpower, that it is a force of nature that maybe some people they can will off things they want and will things that they do want faster or slower. Like I can ward off things I don't want longer, but it's inevitably going to consume you. So this is the way I think about it. Okay, you're in a room and there's no way to get out of the room.
Oof.
Okay, and in the middle of the room you have a table, and on the table you have the most calorically dense, toxic chocolate cake, but so delicious. Right, it's like the most delicious thing. It fills up the entire room with the aroma of it. It actually was warm when you first got in, so it has that extra like little like fudgy smell that makes us all melt. Okay, well, now your task is for as long as humanly possible. They're going to measure your vitals and all that. So as long as humanly possible before death, you have to walk around that table repeatedly. They don't give you anything else to eat. And you have to not touch that one time.
How long am I in this room for?
Until your vitals show that you're about to die and the doctors can save you and bring you back. To me, that's why I don't think anybody can do that. And that's why I think willpower is a fleeting idea of like discipline.
It is not willpower. I just like the taste of White Monster. I'm a sucker for it. It's not willpower. He's right. That's a bad good habit I have daily. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's probably more so because you have a connection with good work being done. Like it's part of the it's just
part of the flow.
Just part of it. I don't know. It's like I feel like a good guitar player has to have like they probably set up the same way. They probably have the same.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Like they gotta get in the zone.
I mean, people know like the nastiest habit that I've ever had was chewing tobacco during my baseball days. So guys, I can't even tell you when I started. I wanted so badly to be a big leaguer. I would emulate everything they would do. And when I was good at baseball, so I started playing with like 18-year-olds when I was like 16. So it was around that time, like 15, 16. And I didn't stop for a long time. I'm like 6 years now. But it took me a very long time to stop that. And like it wasn't willpower for me to stop. It was the pain of watching my teeth darken. And it was the pain of watching my gums start to do that like thing where it starts to deteriorate, and then going to like Google and like looking at it and be like, oh, you can't get that back. That tissue's gone.
Yeah.
And I literally stopped cold turkey one night in Wilmington, North Carolina, and have never even done it since. And I'm actually repulsed by it now. It used to be like the best smell ever, and you're talking about like habitually cracking a Monster open and like writing workouts. Well, when you're a baseball player, it's like you habitually, like if you're on the field, you chew. That's what you did. And so anyways, it's just like, it wasn't willpower for me that made me stop. It was pain and pleasure and that complex of me watching this happen and just the vision, the projecting the future pain of seeing my teeth not be like a pretty smile was like, okay, I'm done. Never again.
So go further on that. Especially talking to you guys, do you think the best way to stop a bad habit? I know you're probably wired that way. Do you think it's literally to go cold turkey, or do you think it needs to be broken up in like incremental steps where, okay, I've done this and I can do this, and by the end of those steps, you don't have that habit anymore?
Yeah, that's interesting because that has like a correlation to willpower. You know, it really does.
I'm like you. I gotta go cold turkey. I can't.
It's like if I don't have enough pain yet,
yeah,
can I just stop because I feel like it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Me either. Let us know what you guys think. I think you gotta go cold turkey on something specifically like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's giving you pain every time you do it.
And the interesting thing about it is I wanted to stop, like ever since I became a trainer. As soon as I was done with baseball, I was like, I want to stop. And it was like 6 more years, of me battling that, of going back and forth, of saying, I want to stop. And dude, I would like throw cans away. Then I would go buy them. I would dig them out of the garbage sometimes after I threw them away. It was like an addiction. It was really like I wanted to it was like a magnet. I kept throwing it away and it just kept coming back to me.
It's like a Frisbee.
Yeah, and it was because I was trying to exude willpower. Willpower was not working. And it took a vision of the future that was a more painful vision of me not having it in the future.
The other bad habit I have is sometimes I say no too quickly to things I shouldn't. So
this is the self-aware version of Matt. Everyone, welcome to the world, buddy.
Specifically about hanging around other human beings. I know this is probably wait, what? I have been like this ever since I remember. I remember anytime my mom and my brothers would want to go out to dinner, I would say, no, just bring me back something home. Because I would just be in my room, just laying down watching TV. And I've continued to do that as I've gotten older, but I try and do my best knowing that in my mind I want to say no, but I say yes to things that I should be around more people more often. And by the end of those interactions, I'm like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Right? So
actually had fun.
That is a self-aware thing that I have noticed I've gotten better at, but it's taken a lot of work. Right? If I could say no to everything, like going out to a bar or going out to hanging out with people I don't really know quite yet, I'm terrible at small talk. I'm so bad at small talk. It's like once somebody talks about the weather, I immediately shut down. Like, oh, great, here we go. Talking about the weather, asking what sports team I like.
How about those Bears?
How about those Lions? I'm just not that person. Devin's great at small talk like that. I am not, but I've tried to get better at it because it's okay to talk about small talk like that. It's just people just want to have an icebreaker in a conversation. So
yeah, I started thinking about it as because you and I are the same way. We'd rather sit down and dive into ideas and visions and big picture things, for sure. And I think I like doing that with a lot of people, and I want to know about the person. And so I know that most people are not. That's not their natural tendency is to want to talk about big ideas and talk about themselves even. I always just thought about it as a way to kind of warm them up, get them talking to me a little bit, kind of like before a podcast, to start pitching and catching with somebody and getting them super comfortable, and then drop the question what's your vision and why are you here and what's the meaning of life? Something like that. They're much more willing to, I think, come forward with it.
I'll tell you what has helped me make a bad habit into a good habit is whatever your bad habit is, find somebody on the opposite end of the spectrum and hang out with them during that habit. Mm-hmm. So if I'm bad at small talk, I want to be around people that are really good at it. So my wife's good at it, Devin's good at it, Victoria Cerise is good at it. I like to hang around those people because it makes me get closer to their good habit. So if you think of one of your bad habits is not to go to the gym, when you say you go to the gym, find somebody that is going to go to the gym that day and go hang out with them.
I know where to find them too, by the way.
Yeah.
On the Keep Moving Club wall. You just go right up this on.
Who's on the 250?
Who's on the 250? Hey, who's this? Let me get their number. I need an accountability buddy.
But hanging around people that are good at your bad habit will help you get there quicker.
I think that's where the willpower comes in. Yeah. The ability to not want to go over there and look at the board and pull that name down, and if you don't know the name, go to the Burn Ambassador and then ask them, hey, can you hook me up with this person? Yeah. That's willpower, I think, something like that.
Yep.
I've been thinking about that the whole time now. A bad habit. Okay, so I have a question for you. What's the best habit you have?
Best habit I have? I am disciplined AF.
Ooh.
I'm one of those people that if I'm going to eat the same thing every day, I'll eat the same thing every day. That doesn't bother me. If I need to work out every day, I'll work out every day. If I have to get up at a certain time during the day, I'll get up at a certain time during the day. If someone asks me to hang out, but I got to get this done, I'm not going to go hang out with them because I got to get this done. So that can turn some people off where it's like, oh, this person's the same day after day after day. But I think that actually is a benefit because it's helped me to get where I am now. If I wasn't as disciplined as I was born to be, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would probably not even work at Burn Boot Camp anymore because I wasn't as disciplined waking up at 4 a.m. every day, putting in the work 7 camps a day, still getting your workout in, doing the focus meetings. So I think if I wasn't as disciplined, I wouldn't be here. So I think that's my best habit.
That's a good one.
And it translates across any spectrum probably in life. The food you eat, the workouts you do, your work, which is very important to me. So I think being disciplined is probably my best habit. What's yours?
My best habit? Probably if I'm like really trying to think about the one that's better than all the other, or like the precursor to other good habits, I would have to say it can't be something personal because my mind's wired to, there's a certain threshold personally of comfort that I need to be at, but my mind is wired to serve others. So it's got to be rooted in that, and probably is like, I'm not afraid to meet anyone new. I will like go up to you, I don't care what setting that we're in, and me and you, we're gonna be best friends in like 30 seconds.
That's
you
true.
know, and well, it's because I think the gift that I was given was the ability to see the good in other people, but almost immediately, you know, and then I started paying attention to like communication and human psychology and how in those interactions, you know, you ever walk up to somebody and they're really, really nervous, like to meet you. How do you calm that person down? How do you be that energy, right? So you can match their frequency and calm them down. And I think there's this vibrational energy that every human being has, and it manifests itself in terms of a frequency. And when you are on the same wavelength as somebody else, that means like you feel congruent. When you have that, people, you call it rapport. I can get rapport really fast with people, and I learn a lot, and I intentionally try to learn a lot about them in the moment, so that I can use that down the road to reinforce the friendship.
You always had that too, though. Since you always say I'm the one that came up to you in 4th grade, but I think it was reverse. I think Devin was like, "Hey, can I be your friend?" I'm like, "Sure."
Well, honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember. You're probably right, because when we were young, my mom took my younger brother and I, and we went from Michigan to Mississippi to Arizona to California to Washington, back to California, back to Arizona to Michigan. This is all in like 5 years. We moved like probably almost 20 times. I don't know the exact amount. But I'd go to new schools like every 3 months.
So you got to meet new people.
Listen, I'm a naturally extroverted person.
Yeah.
I was there's something about me that was born this way too. Because most kids that get put in those situations, they don't make any friends, you know, because they don't have that. But I just had to, I wasn't feeling alive if I didn't. And I think that's probably has a lot to do with it. And that's why I always tell everyone, like, I wouldn't change my adversity for anything, because it's my ultimate advantage. Like, it taught me how to be a great communicator. It taught me how to be a man. It taught me how to grow up a lot earlier than a lot of other people. And so, yeah, there's probably a correlation there if I was stepping back to like evaluate psychologically.
Yeah, I do think the best habits though are inherent. Though.
Yeah.
So like being like extra.
Maybe that's a ritual. The inherent habits.
Inherent habits. I think you're probably number one.
Or personality.
Inherent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
It is a very interesting question.
So when you're talking about building habits, okay, we've got a bad habit. All right, let's just put both of our
let's put them out
current bad habit that we're currently battling with right now. We've talked about some historic ones and things like that. All right, let's go back to caffeine.
You guys probably have
You and
this
I,
as well.
you're on the verge of 400 milligrams.
Yep.
I'm probably not. I might be beating you.
You probably are.
Oof.
Those 5-hour energies.
Oh man, that's
Pack the
so
punch.
gross.
And this is like, I get it before 2 o'clock. So it's not like I span this throughout the whole day. Like these milligrams is fit in between, like 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. So it's like on an hourly basis, that's kind of a lot.
Step one to breaking these bad habits: too many monsters, too much. So it's Ignite, it's monsters, which I can thank this guy for, and I can thank my travels in the road and the airports for 5-hour energies. And so between these three things, that's like 550 milligrams a day. Is too much. They say 500 is like you're pushing the human limit, man.
That's the top scale.
So man, that's not good. And yeah, I need to talk about it. I think step one to how do you break habits is like self-awareness. How do you create self-awareness? Talk about it. Let's have a therapeutic session here. I kind of want to break this habit because like 550 milligrams a day is.
That's a lot.
It's deadly.
I think me and Devin are, if you had to tell us tomorrow that if we drank any more caffeine, we would die the next day, we would go cold turkey. But I know a lot of us aren't that type of individual.
We don't have enough pain yet.
Yeah, I think the first step would be like I would look at all the aspects of my life to realize like my sleep's probably not as good as it could be. That could improve. I would love more sleep. You feel better when you wake up. I'm probably not getting the amount of like quality calories during the day I should. I've noticed if my caffeine consumption gets high, I tend to lose weight because caffeine's gonna turn your hunger hormone down. You're gonna go long spans without actually eating, which is also not good, especially a high energy person who needs a lot of energy throughout the day. So if I get better sleep and I get better quality calories, I think the first step is to realize those two things would get better if I cut back, just in half. I still need some caffeine. I think caffeine does good things, but I would, if I saw my sleep get better and I'm eating better food throughout the day, I think that would be a good first step to make that habit better.
So awareness number one, like identify what the habit is that is the bad habit. Try to assess your current pain tolerance with it. Like we talk about pain as the mover, not free will or willpower. Yeah. So like how painful is it? Like what, at this point, I'm thinking as you're talking about this, like of manufacturing enough pain for it to hurt. You can do that, I wrote about this in Stop Starting Over. You can do that by projecting fear of the future. So if I put out in front of me less desirable future vision of the future because of this thing, then I'm able to more likely believe that this vision I am visually realizing is real, and it starts to become real, and then so the pain starts to become real in the now. It's almost like when moms or dads, they might be obese or overweight, let's just say super obese for this concept, and they have never been able to break obesity their entire life until their son or daughter is old enough to consider marriage, and they refuse to be the person that cannot walk down the aisle at their son or daughter's wedding. Yep. You have now manufactured enough pain in the moment, you're projecting that in the future, and you're able to course correct now. So that's kind of what I mean. And I think for me, as we're talking about this, it's like, okay, well, the CDC recommends 500 tops, right? I don't even trust the CDC. So it's probably like 250 tops is better. So I'm now double plus some the recommended amount that I think is right. I mean, caffeine causes your heart to beat faster.
Yes.
And now I need to take it one step further and say how many heart attacks are correlated to caffeine consumption. And then I need to start like convincing myself that it's actually it's a bad thing. And if I don't stop now and manufacture enough pain, that there'd be no reason for me otherwise to stop it. Why would I stop it? I like it.
I like that tool.
Caffeine's an awesome drug.
It is. It is awesome.
It is. Like, I mean, this is what alcoholics are. Like, alcohol is awesome.
Yeah.
It is. You can drink way too much alcohol in one day, and you can kill yourself in one day.
Yeah.
Like, you drink a whole liter of whiskey in 3 hour span, your chances of dying are pretty great.
Yeah.
So.
A lot to think about.
Well, it is. Yeah, it's crazy. It's the balance of life. How do you, because like, is there such thing as a person that doesn't have a vice? That's what I want to know.
No, I don't believe that at all. I think everybody has a vice.
Monks, Isaiah says monks might not have a vice.
Their vice is meditating.
Yeah, can you meditate too much? Yeah, I think so.
Everybody has something that they love to do more than someone else does.
Could you meditate so much that you only care about yourself and you don't care about leaving your environment a better place than when you left it? Okay.
Everybody's got a vice. That's a good new episode too.
What about this though? What about does it have to be physical? Does your vice have to be a physical? Like, I know when we think of vice, what we're actually referring to is some type of physical consumption: alcohol, drugs, food, sugar, wine, candy.
Social media is a vice.
Social media, okay, you're consuming that visually. Can it be a character flaw? Can a vice be a character flaw? Can you have such a big blind spot that it actually starts to ruin your life? Maybe I'm taking this on a tangent, but
I see where you're going.
Like, can your vice be being like a belief? Like, life's short. Can a vice be poor belief systems? Life is short, so therefore I'm going to live it up. And living it up means drinking every day. So a belief system then leads to a...
Yeah. I've had to fight this personally. I have a small slice of me that's like tends towards being nihilistic, where like nothing really matters. Like, I have to fight that sometimes, where it's like, even going to like these events where it's my bad habit of like, hey, let's go spend some time with X, or let's go spend time with Y. It's like, it doesn't really matter if I spend time with this person. It doesn't really matter. I think I've had to fight that. Again, being around people that show you that it does really matter, it helps. But I'm a little bit nihilistic about some things, which isn't great. I admit that.
That manifests itself positively in you too, because you have a healthy skepticism of institutionalization. You have a healthy skepticism. Like, I even see that in your, how'd you say, assistance in shaping the vision of Burn, is that, you know, I'm like this overly optimistic, like, positive person that, like, if y'all let me have it my way, we would be like a dog chasing its tail, but I'd be happy doing it and really excited and mistaking movement for progress and all that stuff. And then, you know, not that you don't have the vision or that you have to be like an exact opposite contrast on the spectrum of that, but you tend to be like a pessimistic you'd be like pessimistically optimistic.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, you have this one level, I think that's what you mean, right? You have this like one level in front of saying yes, and that kind of manifests itself in like social life, but also, and maybe that'd be negative to you, but in a business sense, I think there's some positives about that. So, you know, all these vices, like, can't anything be a vice? Like, you wear your shoes too tight and you like doing that. That could be a vice.
That could be a vice.
Are all vices bad? I think
it gets that term, you would think that it is bad, right?
I think that's the definition of it, is like
something that isn't a benefit to your life if you do it long term.
Yeah. A vice is like a vice grip, or I think this may be where it comes from, and like has a hold on you, stopping you from movement.
You do it in excess.
Do it in excess. I could be totally off.
Me either. But I just think of Miami Vice, and that city is like a city of excess.
Yeah, there's that one. We have to look that up. We got to ask ChatGPT.
We have habits, vice, ritual. We got a lot of Webster to look up on these definitions.
Yeah, this is good. I hope you guys had fun with this conversation today as we just sit around and pitch and catch on what it means to admit and be vulnerable about your habits, bad habits that you do have. You know, because without that admission, there's something therapeutic about that allows you to really address it and be truthful about it. And I think we've concluded that I definitely need to do something about this caffeine habit, and Matt too. So, to be continued. But for real, seriously, like, you know, knocking out, like trading. You could be one bad habit away, and you could be one good habit away. Or you could be replacing one bad habit with one good habit away, of really opening up your life and being able to experience new things.
Very true.
Being able to just get a perception of the world that's different than the one that you currently hold. And if we're constantly seeking to get new perspective, I think, you know, we're all very smart, intelligent human beings, and it's a hard thing to do, to have the willpower to seek the perspective, you know, because we're all egotistical, and to some nature, you know, we all believe our own thoughts, and, you know, we all think our own ideas are really great, and they are a lot of times, but also there's also room for the, you know, perspective of the world, because there's millions upon infinite ways to look at things, and there tends to be a right way, there tends to be a wrong way when you're looking at how do I put together my life, and how do I become successful, and how do I leave my community behind better than when I found it, things like that. So any last words, Matt?
2 claps on 2, 1, 2.